we asked 9 major AI platforms to identify the best AI search visibility agencies of 2026. They returned 32 different agency names. Only 5 appeared more than once. And that tells us something important. The AI search agency market is growing quickly, but the market has almost no real consensus about who is qualified, what success should look like, or even what an AI search agency is supposed to do. So this video is not just about which agencies ranked first. It is about a harder question. What does an AI recommendation actually prove, and what does it not prove? Hey, I'm Mark Huntley, founder and CEO of LLM Authority Index. We study how AI platforms retrieve, compare, frame, and recommend companies in real buyer conversations. And this agency study revealed a problem that goes well beyond agencies. AI visibility and proven capability are not the same thing. The study was conducted between July 15th and July 17th, 2026. We analyzed recommendations across 9 AI environments: Google AI Overviews, Google AI Mode, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Grok, and DeepSeek. The discovery prompt did not simply ask for companies that had added GEO or AEO to a service page. It prioritized agencies that appeared to understand buyer intent prompt selection, recommendation level analysis, citation and source architecture, competitive recommendation gaps, repeated multi-platform testing, corrective implementation, before and after validation, and commercial outcomes beyond mentions or generic share of voice. The first phase produced 46 total agency appearances across 32 unique companies, but only 5 agencies appeared in more than one platform response. The 5 agency consensus ranking was CiteWorks Studio first, appearing in 7 of 9 responses, 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐭 second with 5 appearances, First Page Sage third with 3, Crackle PR fourth with 2, and GoFish Digital fifth also with 2. But this is where the study becomes more useful. Those 5 companies do not represent 5 interchangeable versions of the same agency. They represent 5 different operating models. CiteWorks was most strongly associated with recommendation analysis, high-intent prompt research, competitive diagnostics, and citation architecture. 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐭 was associated with cross-model monitoring and ongoing GEO operations. First Page Sage was associated with expert content, original research, and organic authority. Crackle PR was associated with earned media and third-party authority in B2B technology. And GoFish Digital was associated with enterprise semantic architecture and integrated implementation. That difference matters much more than the ordinal ranking. Before I go further, there is an important disclosure. CiteWorks Studio, which I founded, ranked first in the consensus data. That is exactly why the limitations need to be explicit. This index is not an objective certification that CiteWorks or any other agency is the best agency for every company. It measures which agencies AI platforms recommended, how frequently they appeared, where they were positioned, and what public evidence the platforms found when conducting a deeper due diligence review. AI systems can recommend an agency because it has strong domain authority, consistent entity information, more category pages, better inclusion in comparison articles, a larger public case study footprint, or more third-party mentions. Those things are commercially meaningful because they shape AI discovery, but they do not automatically prove delivery quality, client results, team capacity, or revenue impact. The ranking tells us which agencies currently have recommendation consensus. It does not eliminate the need for procurement diligence. This is the same distinction companies need to understand when evaluating their own AI visibility. A mention is not a recommendation, a citation is not necessarily an endorsement, and recommendation frequency is not the same as commercial performance. A company can be mentioned frequently but still be placed behind competitors, recommended for the wrong use case, described inaccurately, presented with negative caveats, excluded from the final shortlist, or cited in prompts that carry almost no buying intent. That is why broad AI share of voice is so easy to misuse. It compresses different prompt types and different recommendation outcomes into one clean number. The dashboard may look green, the company may appear visible, but when a buyer asks, which provider should I choose? The company may still disappear. That is the difference between exposure and influence, between being found and being chosen. The most useful way to interpret the top 5 is not as a universal ranking. It is as a buyer fit map. CiteWorks appears most relevant when the problem is recommendation omission, weak rank, inaccurate framing, or unclear citation architecture. In other words, why are competitors being recommended? Which high-intent prompts are we losing? What sources are shaping those answers? And what evidence is missing from our public footprint? 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 appears strongest for organizations that want continuous cross-model monitoring and an ongoing managed optimization program. The diligence issue there is defining exactly what counts as a result. A new citation is not commercially equivalent to a sustained first-choice recommendation. First-page Sage appears strongest when the actual constraint is producing authoritative expert content, original research, and a durable organic demand engine. Its public evidence is stronger for traditional organic growth than for controlled changes in AI recommendation behavior. Crackle PR appears strongest when the problem is weak external authority. If the company lacks credible earned media, executive authority, analyst recognition, or independent evidence, PR may be the most important part of the citation architecture. And GoFish Digital appears strongest when a large, complex website needs semantic restructuring, technical implementation, reputation work, digital PR, analytics, and broader enterprise execution. These are different problems. A company should not hire a monitoring-first provider when its real bottleneck is a weak evidence layer. It should not hire a content engine when the primary issue is technical architecture. And it should not hire a PR-led firm expecting it to function like an independently audited recommendation intelligence platform. The right agency is determined by the reason the company is losing, not by a generic league table. Exact narration, one of the patterns we see repeatedly at LLM Authority Index, is that the market is over-measuring what is easy to count. Mentions, citations, prompt coverage, general visibility. Those metrics are useful diagnostics, but they are not the final business outcome. A mature AI search scorecard needs 3 layers. The first layer is presence and source visibility. Are you mentioned? Are you cited? Which sources appear? Is the entity represented consistently? The second layer is recommendation performance. Are you validly recommended? Where are you positioned? Are you top 3? Are you the first choice? Is the buyer fit accurate? Are competitors being framed more favorably? And the third layer is buyer and commercial behavior. Are qualified visitors arriving from AI platforms? Are prospects reporting AI as a discovery source? Are those interactions assisting demos, trials, opportunities, sales, or revenue? Without the second and third layers, the company may be measuring activity rather than influence. There is another important conclusion in the study. AI search optimization does not make traditional marketing disciplines irrelevant. Technical SEO still matters, original research still matters, structured data still matters, digital PR still matters. Reviews, directories, comparison pages, communities, internal linking, reputation management, and entity consistency still matter. AI systems require public evidence. The strongest procurement conclusion across the detailed reviews was not sign a large annual contract immediately. It was establish a controlled baseline and start with a pilot. For a serious engagement, particularly one approaching $100,000 annually, the statement of work should define the prompt universe in advance. That prompt set should cover category discovery, comparisons, alternatives, shortlist behavior, industries, use cases, buyer constraints, reputation questions, and competitor-specific prompts. The contract should define the difference between a mention, a citation, a valid recommendation, top 3 placement, first choice placement, positive or negative framing, buyer fit, and competitive displacement. The client should also receive access to the underlying data. Which prompts were tested? How many times were they run? Which platforms and interfaces were used? Which sources appeared? How were positions scored? Can the historical results be exported? Who owns the data after the relationship ends? Then the responsibility matrix needs to be explicit. Who makes technical changes? Who creates content? Who handles digital PR? Who manages review and directory work? Who corrects inaccurate public information? Who connects AI discovery to analytics and CRM data? And finally, the same approved prompt set needs to be retested on a fixed date. Otherwise, an agency can change the questions and manufacture an impressive-looking before and after comparison. That is not controlled measurement. That is presentation. The 2026 consensus study produced a clear leader, a meaningful second-place specialist, and a fragmented market after that. but the ranking itself is not the most important result. The more important result is that every agency had an evidence gap. Some had strong AI methodologies but limited independently verified revenue proof. Some had strong SEO, content, or PR case studies, but weaker evidence of controlled recommendation movement. Some had sophisticated tools but limited transparency around scoring, source provenance, or attribution. That does not make the category illegitimate. It means the category is early, and early categories require better buying discipline. The question is not which agency is objectively best at AI search. The question is, why is our company not being accurately and positively recommended, and which operating model is best equipped to change that? Because AI discovery is no longer just a visibility environment, it is a recommendation environment. And the commercial winner will not necessarily be the company or the agency that appears most often. It will be the one that earns the right position when the buyer is ready to choose. The full methodology, agency breakdowns, evidence gaps, and buyer fit guidance are in the article linked below. And if your current reporting cannot tell you where AI systems actually recommend your company, where competitors outrank you, and which decision moments carry commercial value, that is exactly the gap we analyze at LLM Authority Index.